Start here for these cars. It's Chris Perini on pole. Peter Clare in the shared runway racing car right alongside Stephen Campion, Paul Braico, Kostigan Pakurov, Brad Nilsson, sharing with Mitch Nilsson, Bill Medland, Michael Whiting, rounding out the 10 there to Kenny Anseline and Jim Hernandez, all set for a race start, being slowed right down and away they go. Green flag has been waved. It's 15 minutes to the compulsory pit stop begins, so let's have a bit of frantic Radical Australia Cup racing. Around the outside are going the fast cars at the moment. They'll get hauled back because they're going to have to cover a fair bit more of territory. And just watching there as Brad Nilsson just gets bottled up a bit and cops a whack, a couple of whacks there too. There goes Peter Padden in Kim Burke's car. He's got
from South Australia having his maiden run here. He got turned right towards the back of the field. Kosta Pahurikov in the number, I'm going to get the number in my head this time round, 26 car on screen. RSX version of the Radical SR3 control formula, all powered by 1500cc. Straight line 4-cylinder engine, naturally aspirated, 685 kilos, very good performance. For Chris Perini, he's putting that to good use. Paul Braico and Stephen Campion, second and third regulars in the New South Wales Super Sport Series. They are making their debuts in Radical Australia Cup. Local specialists, done a lot of miles around here. See Paul Braico's trying to get some temperature into those control hand-cooked tyres and keep a close eye on his pace. But this is working out very nicely for Chris Perini. It's not working out quite so well though for Peter Padden, caught up in that melee at the start, and frustration too for the winner of the opening round of the season, Brad Nilsson, who is now well back in this field. On screen though, Paul Braico doing a great job, supported by GWR. Garth Walden very instrumental in a number of cars in the field this weekend. In fact, at the moment he's 1, 2, 3, 4 in this field. Look at the car behind though. There he is, the 68, drives right around the inside of Costa, waves, thanks very much. Funny thing was afterwards, a lot of them remembered that as Peter Padden down the inside as Stephen Campion closes the door. Nice move by Stephen Campion. Of course, he doesn't need to let Peter Padden through because he's a multiple champion or his teammate. He's racing hard. He's pushing personal bests. He qualified more than a second faster than he'd ever been around here before. And he'd be very keen to try and hold Peter Padden back there, but I don't think you're going to keep the three-time champion behind you for very long. That was close. Steve can actually pick up where Peter Padden is on track, and he'll know that... oh, that's not the way to do it. He's just tagged Paul Braico, and that is game over for Peter Padden. Right front damage. That is disappointing. He just was about to pull out of the slipstream, dive down the inside, and left it a little bit too late. Paul Braico may have caught him on his braking point, and let's hope for Braico there's no damage there, but that's game over for Peter Padden. 4 sessions he started this weekend, and effectively 4 times he's finished prematurely with a car that's not 100%. Let's look at the replay. Just tagged him, trying to pull up down the inside. I think that caught Paul Braico completely by surprise, and hopefully for the number 80 entry, he's able to continue on, but no more for Peter Padden.
It was more of a, now he's got damage too.
Left rear.
That's a shame. And, well, he just sort of darted out, and that was that. Not only value for money with the purchase of one of these cars, it's value for money running it, the running costs, and then coming to these Shannon's Nationals events. It's certainly great bang for buck. And
what has been bedlam in pit lane, Garth Walden? Can you give us some updates?
Yeah, it's been a little bit crazy at the moment, but yeah, we'll have 5 cars in the top 5, and it looks like 2 of our cars are coming together at turn 1. I'm not quite sure, I didn't quite see it, but there's a bit of damage and a lot of smoke, so we've made most of our compulsory pit stops now. We've got 1 to go, but 1 car's out there somewhere, I think at turn 2, and then yeah, we've just got to fix up the other one.
For Stephen Campion and Paul Braico, who's had enough of the smoke, maybe a little bit of flame to that smoke as well, as the GWR team just looked to put that out. So it hasn't really been Paul Braico's day after that contact with Peter Padden, but to that point though he was very, very strong.
Pretty dramatic pictures when you start to see smoke and fire extinguishers and drivers bounding out of cars, that's for sure.
It'd be interesting to see where he is on track.
We'll head down to pit lane with Emma Francesca.
Paul Braico, it just hasn't been your day. You came into pit lane, the team worked really hard to get you back out, and you're throwing your arms up in the air. What can you do?
Indeed. I'd like to add a little drama to the race, if you will. Did you see how fast I got out of that car?
Thank you for making it very exciting, but great to see you A-OK.
Yeah. Yeah, no, fine. So I was going okay. I was in second, and I think it was Peter Patton behind me, and into the second corner. I heard a big bang. Peter went straight past me. So I went, So it was a bit, just the tyre was rubbing. I was getting smoked as I was going down the pit straight. So that's racing, I guess.
Better luck for tomorrow, and thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. Thank you, Peter. And I think we'll take that one into tomorrow, Sean, won't we? Going along quite well, and just went, bah! And then
Chris Perini on screen. Not long to go in this race. He'll be just hanging in there. He's comfortably in the lead. He'll have an idea that he is well up on this field.
Nicely turned out Radical SR3. And this is absolutely emphatic victory here. Albeit without Peter Patton taking part, you can only race those that are still on track with you at the end. Checkered flag now falling on Chris Perini. He will take victory in race 1 for the Radical Australia Cup racing here this weekend, and race 1 as part of round 3 of the Radical Australia Cup. Very, very happy with a Fernando Alonso type weave towards the checkered flag there. Costa Bakurov is rounding out his lap as well, coming out using all of the track as he runs down the long gradient down the Brabham Straight.
Stephen Champion's dropped back to 8 seconds back from Costa now, but that still is a 1-2-3 for GWR. So despite the frustration of watching the contact between Peter Patton and Paul Braico, Brent Grigor crosses the line. Stephen Champion now across the line and comfortably classified third on his debut in Radical Australia Cup. Max Medland up to position 4. Rowan Ross, you see that on screen. Mitchell Nilsson position 6, so good points for him. Greg Kenny, Michael Whiting, Bill Medland and Brenton Grigor are your top 10. Championship points lead to Chris Perini. And the great thing is we get to do this all over again tomorrow morning at 11:20 a.m. Darren Smith, we look forward to that.
Welcome back to the Shannons Nationals. We've got Radicals on track, and here they come for their rolling start. On pole position, it will be Chris Perini, Steve Champion, Paul Braico, Peter Clare, Costa Bakurov. It'll be the Nelson boys and Bill Medland, Michael Whiting, John Paul Drake. Then we go down to Greg Kenny, Rowan Ross, Phil Anseline, Brenton Grigol, Jim Hernandez and Peter Patton right on cue. Sean Henchwood alongside me, Darren Smith for the start of this race.
Chris Perini won a brilliant race yesterday, Darren. Did everything perfectly, been fastest in practice, fastest in qualifying. Top position for both races. He leads down to turn 1, but keep an eye on Peter Patton. He's in the number 68 entry. Oh, we haven't even got that far. That is JP Drake going down the escape road. His tag could have been Phil Anseline off the start. Now, the boys had a big talking to by Tony D'Alberto, the driving standards observer this morning, to say just calm things down. Yesterday was a little ragged, probably got a bit excited. As around goes Brenton Grigor. It's great. There's some great footage for social media a little bit later with his onboard camera. Not the start he wanted though, but this hasn't been a tidy start again. We didn't even make turn 1 this time. Yesterday we got down to turn 2 and it all went wrong. Mid-pack, Bill Medland braked a little bit late. And we have safety car out. That is Jim Hernandez at rear of field. He is a rookie in this field. And that really has got exciting. Interesting to see who else was caught up in that. It says Max Medland's at the rear of this field and Paul Braico. Now, I hope for Paul Braico there is no dramas. He got tagged yesterday by Peter Patton as Patton was storming through the field. It is Paul Braico. He has not had an ounce of luck this weekend. He and Stephen Champion have elevated themselves into Radical Australia Cup.
To escape any damage, there's Paul Braico standing on the wall there now. There is a fair bit of debris on the side of the track as well. So interesting as the clean-up continues down the pit straight here at Sydney Motorsport Park for race 2 of the Radicals.
Interesting point, just looking at the bodywork on Paul Braico's car. It's carrying the bodywork from Peter Patton's primary car, which is, we go back a little bit further when we started the coverage talking about Paul Braico and Stephen Champion. They have elevated themselves from the New South Wales Supersport Series. They've done a lot of miles around Sydney Motorsport Park, and both of them were very strong in both legs of qualifying. They started off the second row. In fact, Stephen Champion started off the front row alongside Chris Perini. Unfortunately for Paul Braico, loveliest guy in the world, he had a big joke yesterday about that incident. He got wiped out by Peter Patton, but again being wiped out before turn 1, I'm not so sure his sense of humour is going to stretch that far. Very, very frustrating because he showed he had the pace on his debut in the Cup to run at the front. Stephen Champion, meanwhile, second in this race, finished third yesterday. He's shown that the guys that have cut their teeth on competition for Radical in the Supersport Series in New South Wales, for which I should point out the man in position number 3, Mitch Nielsen, is the reigning champion of the New South Wales Series. They do elevate themselves into Radical Australia Cup and become very, very competitive. So this will be a lot of frustration for Paul Braico and the team down at GWR. Green flags waving, we're set for a restart. What can Chris Perini do, and where can Peter Patton come? He's already in position 7 off rear of field. This is going to be a cracker.
Charge down now, Mitch Nielsen looks out there as well, the reigning New South Wales Supersport champion, as the field streams through, all safe, all clear through turn 1 for the restart, some 13 minutes after he set sail on the first race. Down the inside, Mitch Nielsen looks on Steve Champion. Fantastic, really strong coming of age for Steve Champion, jumping straight into the Radical Australia Cup after only running the New South Wales Supersport Series. And Mitch Nielsen down the inside again. These two will have met each other on numerous occasions out on track here at Sydney Motorsport Park. Racing. So Mitch Nielsen, Medlin, Grigol, all
Costa's, sorry mate, he's rolling down pit lane. So it's all gone wrong for Costa. Peter Clare qualified second yesterday. He felt ill in the middle of the day, didn't want to push himself too hard, knowing he had 15 minutes ahead of himself. Stephen Champion to the crossover. Nice job. Yeah, but don't want to run too far wide. Peter Clare did the crossover back on him before they got round Corporate Hill last time round. Looks like Champion's made it stick this time round. But yes, fatigue is something that comes up. It's 50 minutes of racing, and that time still circulating very quickly. And he comes to the line with clock 0. Checkered flags out. Ollie Smith and Phil Anseline take the win to finish off round 3 of the 2019 Championship, the 11th season of Radical Australia Cup. Brad Nielsen, well, he's going to, that's in front of him is Peter Patton. Brad Nielsen takes position number 3 and a bag of valuable championship points. So 4, we've missed all of that as things have moved on. Here is the end result. Ollie Smith takes the win with Phil Anseline. Peter Patton, Brad Nielsen, Max Medland on his own, Greg Kenny, Chris Perini, Rowan Ross, Bill Medland, Stephen Champion and Peter Clare round out your team.